Good morning, everybody. Shana Tova. Shana Tova. Whether you are with us in the room, on Zoom, or watching us on YouTube, I am so glad that you're here, and I wish you a Shana Tova, Umetuka, a good and sweet new year. A few announcements before we begin. Although there was only one entrance open, there are multiple exits. I'm going to play flight attendant for a moment. There's one behind me. There are two in the rear of the room. Right through the art room and out that door that you came in, and in the back through that door and straight out. In case of an emergency, we will direct you to either use the closest exit or a specific exit, depending on the nature of the emergency. The restrooms are located right outside the fellowship hall in the back. Turn left or go out that door and turn left just after the kitchen. The small lectern to my right is for readers. I think I left the microphone on, but just check and make sure the green light is lit before you start speaking. And we are once again holding our Yom Kippur food drive. We were not able to get the bags from HEB this year, so we would appreciate if you just use a plastic bag or whatever, and if you can bring food on non-perishables on Yom Kippur for the food drive. Lacey will be taking them to the San Antonio Food Bank after Yom Kippur. If you prefer to make a monetary donation, make it out to the San Antonio Food Bank, and we'll be happy to deliver those on your behalf. As we turn to our machzor and make our way through the service, when pages are consecutive and the prayer continues on the next page, I will not always announce the pages so as not to disrupt the flow of the service. I will, of course, announce the page whenever we skip pages or when the page is not obvious. So on the right-hand side are the traditional or the faithful to the Hebrew readings, and on the left side are the interpretive readings. Sometimes we'll be reading from the right side of the page, sometimes on the left. It's the ones on the right-hand side that continue on the next page. When we won't always, excuse me, when we won't always announce the pages. For those of you in the room, I ask you to check your phones and please make sure they are on silent or turned off before we begin. And for those of you on Zoom, a couple of notes. First of all, you are displayed on the large screen TV in the room so that you can be part of the congregation. Unfortunately, we have not figured out how to have you heard during the service. So when we come to the Misha Beirach, if you have names of people that you want read who are in need of healing, please put them in the chat and April will read them for us. And the same thing with the Kaddish, when we come to it, we'll ask if there are any additional names and you can put those in the chat and April will read them for us. We will do our best to get this resolved by Yom Kippur. I really apologize. Please do know that even though we cannot hear you in the room, people on YouTube can. Watching YouTube. So we know we can't hear you. The people on YouTube can. Thank you very, very much. And we are going to begin on page 110 with Ma Tovu. We're going to continue with the reading that's in your bulletin, Wildly Unimaginable Blessings. Let us dream wildly unimaginable blessings, blessings so unexpected, blessings so beyond our hopes for this world, blessings so unbelievable in this era that their very existence uplifts our vision of creation, our relationships to each other, and our yearning for life itself. Let us dream wildly unimaginable blessings, a complete healing of mind, body, and spirit, a complete healing for all, the end of suffering and strife, the end of plague and disease, when kindness flows from the river of love, when goodness flows from the river of grace, awakened in the spirit of all beings, when God's light, radiating holiness, is seen by everyone. Let us pray with all our hearts for wildly unimaginable blessings, so that God will hear the call to open the gates of the garden, seeing that we haven't waited, that we've already begun to repair the world, each of us becoming a blessing. In testimony to our faith in life, our faith in each other, and our faith in the Holy One, the source of all blessings. Again. We're going to take a moment to try and resolve why the Zoomers cannot hear us. Can you hear me now? Zoomers, can you hear me? Still no. Oh. Is it going through the that? Or is it going through here?
It coming through, but since that's not working,
Ah, okay.
I wanted to put it to you.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Sorry. How about now? Can you hear me now? Zoomers? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. No, still not. How about now? Can you hear me now? Still no. What did you turn up last night?
Not a good plug. We need to get a new one. I went to Walmart last night and they didn't have any.
How about now? Can you hear me now? Still no.
Shall we put this on the Beamer and have it Friday night style?
I guess so.
That's what I've been doing. Thank you, though. Thank you for that, and you can vote. Okay.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Okay.
How about now? Can you hear me now? Yes. Okay, good. Now we got it.
You might still need to be able to adjust the volume.
All right, we're going to continue on page 121.
I'm gonna fix that. I apologize.
No, it's fine. Well, I mean, I know it's really well.
Page 121.
How about now? Is it okay?
Let's
Okay.
let's read responsively in the second paragraph. You have taught us, guard yourselves well, take good care of your lives. In gratitude for the gift of our bodies, we pray for a year of renewed health and replenished strength. May we be attentive to. Let no injury come to others through our acts or failure to act, but let our mitzvah be this: to build a just society in which care is a birthright and the blessing of health the responsibility of all. Baruch atah Adonai, rofei chol basar umafli la'asot. We praise you, Holy One, for wondrous acts of creation and healing. Page 122. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Shenatatu bi Tehorahi. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Shenatatu Page 129. Let's read together at the top of the page. Blessed are the works of your hands, O Holy One. Blessed are hands that have touched life. Blessed are hands that have nurtured a child. Blessed are hands that have embraced with love and friendship. Blessed are hands that have planted new seeds. Blessed are hands that have harvested ripe fields. Blessed are hands that have cleaned, washed, mopped, and scrubbed. Blessed are hands that have held pain. Blessed are hands that have become knotty with age. Blessed are hands that are wrinkled and scarred from doing justice. Blessed are hands that hold the promise of the future. Blessed are the works of your hands, O Holy One. Page 135. Page 138. Holy One, infinite your power, radiant your glory, unbounded your might, awe-inspiring your works. Majestic God, today enthroned beyond time and space, eternally present, your name is hallowed on high. And the psalmist sang, rejoice in Adonai, you righteous, let the upright adorn you with praise. Shochen ad maru tzadikim Adonai la'yesharim navatehila befi yesharim titromam uvedivrei tzadikim We're in the middle of, on page 140. Our sovereign God, source of holiness and greatness, may your name be praised forever in this world and beyond. Eternal One, God of our mothers and our fathers, your strength, sanctity, glory, and dominion are deserving of song, praise, poetry, hymn, sacred chant, and blessings of thankfulness for all time and eternity. Baruch atah Adonai, El melech gadol batishbachot, El hahodaot Adon haniflaot, habocher b'shirei zimra, melech elchei haolamim. Blessed are you, Adonai, sovereign of praise, source of the impulse to give thanks, crown of wonders, who desires a world filled with song and a universe of life. Page 141, the Chatzi Kaddish.
Rabbi, I cannot hear any at all.
I'm sorry. Dennis, I'm sorry.
We cannot hear you when you sing. We hear you well.
All right, let me see if I can. All right, I changed the audio setting. Let's see if that works. Okay. Yitkadal v'yikadash Shemei Rabbah. Amen. B'yama tivrach yirutei v'yamlich l'chutei b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayetecho beit Yisrael ba'agala u'v'zman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam li'amei u'maya yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitdaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudisha brichu le'ela u'le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma ve'imiru amen. We rise for the Baruch Hu on page 142, and as able, we remain standing through the Shema. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. It's my pleasure to call on Sue Weintraub to read in the English over the next several pages.
Source of blessings, our eternal God, your power fills the cosmos, shaping light, creating darkness, making peace, and fashioning all things. Infinite light is preserved in life's treasure house. Lights from the darkness, say God, it was so. In love you bring light to the earth and its creatures. Your goodness renews the creation every day. Infinite, varied, and rich are your works, divine artists, all of them wrought with wisdom. The whole earth is teeming with life. Awestruck by the universe, works of your hands, let all life bless you, praise you, and celebrate the beauty of your lights. May you shine a new light on Zion, and may we soon be privileged to share in that light. Our praise to you, Adonai, creator of the cosmic light. Love abundant, love unstinting. Our God, you have unfolded us in love, tender compassion beyond all bounds, your precious gift. Our fathers and mothers gave you their trust, and you gave them Torah, laws by which to live. For their sake, teach us as well. Grace us with your guidance. Loving Father, merciful Mother of us all, grant us clear understanding that we may listen, learn, and teach. Preserve, practice, and fulfill with love every lesson of your Torah. May learning your Torah light up our eyes. May our hearts embrace your mitzvot. Unite us in love and reverence for you, that we may never feel ashamed of our deeds. We have trusted in your great and holy name. Now let us celebrate at last the joy of your salvation. Bring us in peace from the four corners of the earth. Lead us with upright pride into the land that is ours. For you are a God of miracles and wonders. From all the peoples of the earth you sought us out and brought us near to you, to your great and enduring truth. So with love we acknowledge and proclaim that you are one. Our praise to you, Adonai. You have singled out your people Israel with love.
Thank you, Sue. We continue on page 150 with the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Amen. Please be seated. It is my pleasure to call on Dorothy Martin to lead us in V'ahavta, beginning on page 152, and then the English reading that follows.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, ובשרתם נאות על ידיך, והיו לטות עפות בין עיניך. וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Page 162.
From Egypt you redeemed us, Adonai our God, and from the slave house you set us free. For this the people who felt your love exalted you, and the ones whom you found precious sing hymns of praise, blessing and thanks to the living God who reigns forever. High and exalted, inspiring wonder, who humbles the proud and raises the lowly, who frees the captive, redeems the oppressed, and sustains the poor. God responds to the cry of our people, their prayer in time of need. Sing praise to God Most High, most blessed source of blessing, as Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang this joyous song to you.
Page 164.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נעדר בקודש, נורא תהילות וספלה, שירה חדשה, שיבחו גאולים לשמך, על שפתיים יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. צור ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, ופתחנו מך יהודה וישראל, גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל,
On page 166, we rise as able for the tefillah. Adonai svatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Page 168.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu ve'imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah כתבנו בספר החיים, למענך אלוהים חיים. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני. מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופך עולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידות מלך, מלך ממיט ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה. מי כמוך אב הרחמים, זוכר יצוריו, לחיים לחיים ברחמים. ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. Please be seated. In your bulletin, Unatana Tokaf. Will it be me? Will it be you? As we listen for the still, soft voice, one that utters dire pronouncements that may come true or possibly not. Trembling in fear, wondering, waiting. Has the time come? Will the gates close, leaving us outside, shut out? The final separation from the divine. Or perhaps we'll squeeze through, safe for another year. The sound of the shofar echoing in our hearts reminds us of the impermanence of life and the importance of living our lives as though the gates remain open. We continue on page 174, page 174. Let us proclaim the power of this day, a day whose holiness awakens deepest awe and inspires highest praise for your dominion. For your throne is a throne of love, your reign is a reign of truth. On page 176, It's my pleasure to call upon Richard Usatine to read over the next several pages.
And so a great shofar will cry, Tekiah. A still small voice will be heard. Says there we go. Okay. A still small voice will be heard. Angels in a whirl of fear and trembling will say, behold the day of judgment, for they too are judged. In your eyes even they are not blameless. All who come into the world pass before you, like sheep before their shepherd. As a shepherd considers the flock, when it passes beneath the staff, you count and consider every life. You set bounds, you decide destiny, you inscribe judgments.
You'll stay right there. Stay right there.
See?
Yeah. Rosh Hashanah Yikatevun Uveyom Tzom Kippur Uveyom Tzom Kippur Yechatemun Berosh Hashanah Yikatevun Uveyom Tzom Kippur Uveyom Tzom Kippur Yechatemun Kama yavorun v'chama yibarehun Mi yichyeh u'mi yamut Mi v'kitzo u'mi lo v'kitzo Berosh Hashanah Yikatevun Uveyom Tzom Kippur Uveyom Tzom Kippur Yechatemun Mi va'esh u'mi va'mayim Mi v'cherev u'mi v'chaya Mi v'ra'av u'mi v'tzama Berosh Hashanah Yikatevun Uveyom Tzom Kippur Uveyom Tzom Kippur Yechatemun Mi v'ra'ash u'mi v'magefa Mi v'chanika u'mi yetoraf Mi yishalev u'mi yityaser Mi ya'ani u'mi yashir Mi yushpal u'mi
On Rosh Hashanah, this is written. On the fast of Yom Kippur, this is sealed. How many will pass away from this world? How many will be born into it? Who will live and who will die? Who will reach the ripeness of age? Who will be taken before their time? Who by fire and who by water? And who by war and who by beast? And who by famine and who by drought? And who by earthquake and who by plague? Who by strangling and who by stoning? Who will rest and who will wander? Who will be tranquil and who will be troubled? Who will be calm and who tormented? Who will live in poverty and who in prosperity? Who will be humbled and who exalted?
U'tshuva u'tfilah
return to the right path through prayer and righteous giving, we can transcend the harshness of the decree. You are everything that we praise you for, slow to anger, quick to forgive. You do not wish the death of sinners, but urge them to return from their ways and live. Until the day of death, you wait for them. You accept them at once if they return. Since you created us, you know our impulses. We are but flesh and blood.
Thank you, Richard. On page 184, we rise as able for the Kedusha. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, כך כתוב היה נביאך, וקרא זה על זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ, כבודו, אדיר, אדירנו, אדוני, אדוננו, אדיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גואלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם ועד. כי אל מלך גדול וקדוש אתה. On page 194, we are seated. You chose us with love to be messengers of mitzvot, and through us you made known your aspirations. Among all the many peoples, you gave us a pathway to holiness. Among all the great nations, you uplifted us and made yourself our sovereign. And so we seek you and serve you and celebrate our nearness to your presence. Your great and sacred name has become our calling. Vatiten lanu Adonai Eloheinu bi'ava et yom hazikaron hazeh, yom teruah mikra kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim. In your love eternal, our God, you have given us this day of remembrance, a day for the shofar's joyful sound, a day of sacred assembly, a day to be mindful of our people's going out from Egypt. Our God and God of the generations before us, may a memory of us ascend and come before you. May it be heard and seen by you, winning your favor and reaching your awareness, together with the memory of our ancestors, the memory of your sacred city, Jerusalem, and the memory of your people, the family of Israel. May we be remembered for safety, well-being, and favor, for love and compassion, for life and for peace on this day of remembrance. Zochreinu Adonai Eloheinu bo l'tova, ufokteinu vo livracha, v'hoshienu vo l'chaim. Eternal our God, remember us. Be mindful of us and redeem us for a life of goodness and blessing. Page 201. May all be moved to serve you, praise your presence, bless your name, your splendor and your justice, sea and land shall then proclaim. Let us seek your face at sunrise, in the darkness teach your ways. May your power and uniqueness be the essence of our days. When we speak about your glory, when we praise you for your might, those who hear will feel your presence, turn from darkness to the light. Let seacoasts burst exultant, hills embrace you with joyful sounds. When all people sing together, the world shall see your sovereign crown. In our supplement, we call on April Bell to read Shofar to My Lips.
I put the shofar to my lips. Can you hear it? Can you hear Sarah's voice as she cries for her son on the altar? Can you hear the captives wailing to be released? Can you hear the sound of young women attacked in their homes? Or at the Nova Festival? Can you hear the machine gun fire in the staccato at the Cherura? I put the shofar to my lips. Can you hear it? Can you hear us cry for salvation? Can you hear us begging for the release of the captives? As you heard us mourning under Egypt's slavery, as you heard us as we whispered in our hearts, as you heard us every time the shofar sounded, hear us now, we beg you.
Thank you, April. On page 202, I invite you, as able, to please rise. Alleluia, We remain standing as I invite our Baal Tekiah, Dan Klein, to join me on the bima. We are on page 206. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishmoa kol shofar. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lezman hazeh. Tekiah. Shivarim teruah. Tekiah. Tekiah. Shivarim. Tekiah. Tekiah. Teruah. Tekiah. Reshet Sefatenu Yerab Lefanecha El Ram V'Nisa. Reshet Sefatenu Yerab Lefanecha El Ram V'Nisa. Mevinu Ma'azin, Mevinu Ma'azin, Mabitu Makshiv, Mabitu Makshiv, Mevin Uma'azin lekol tekiyatenu, utkabel berachamim uvratzon, seder, seder malchuyotenu. Page 210, we invite Gabe Lumley to read in the English. Please be seated. Sorry.
God who is ours, God of all generations, to you we are grateful forever, rock and protector of our lives. Your saving power endures from our age to age. We thank you and tell the tale of your praise, your power in our lives, your caring for our souls, the constant miracle of your kindness. Morning, noon, and night, we call you goodness, for your compassion never ends. We call you mercy, for your love has no limit. We call you hope, now and for all time. And for all these gifts, God of majesty, may your name come to be blessed and praised. Our gratitude, a daily offering until the end of time. Inscribe your covenant partners for a life of goodness. And may all lives resound with gratitude and faith and praise of your name. God, you free us and strengthen us. Baruch atah Adonai hatov simcha v'ha ne'eh v'hadot. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose goodness deserves thanks and praise.
Thanks, Kate. Page 214. Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, brachenu bivracha hameshuleshet haktuva b'Torah, Our God, divine presence, whose path our ancestors walked, bless us now with words first bestowed on Israel in the time of Moses and Aaron, the threefold blessing given us through Torah that joins our hopes with theirs. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha Yair Adonai panav elecha Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom v'yasem lecha shalom. May you know God's blessings of shelter and care. May it be so. May you receive the light of God's kindness and grace. May it be so. May you see God's favor and goodness, and may you partake of God's peace. May it be so. Page 216, Sim Shalom. Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha. Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha. Ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la la, ya la la la. Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha. בספר חיים ברכה ושלום ופרנסה טובה ניזכר וניכתב לפניך אנחנו וכל עמך בית ישראל לחיים טובים ולשלום. ברוך אתה אדוני עושה השלום. We continue with a few moments of silent reflection and prayer, after which we will gather together again on page 218. time medabir mirma, vilim kalalai nafshi tidom vinafshi gavala kotia Elohai, Elohai. Elohai nitzur lishoni mera, usvatai medabir mirma, vilim kalalai nafshi tidom vinafshi gavala kotia Elohai, Elohai. Elohai nitzur lishoni mera, usvatai medabir mirma, vilim kalalai nafshi tidom vinafshi kavala koti Elohai, Elohai. Tach libi. Vilim kalalai nafshi tidom vinafshi kafar lakotia Elohai, Elohai. Elohai nitzur lishoni mera, usvatai medabir mirma, vilim kalalai nafshi tidom vinafshi kafar lakotia Elohai, Elohai. Yehiyu liratzon imrei fi, vehekyon libi lefanecha, Adonai, Adonai, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri v'gali. Page 222. Loving Father, infinite power, gentle, forgiving, lofty, inscrutable, Avinu, Malkeinu. Compassionate Mother, omnipotent Lord, comforting presence, fathomless mystery, Avinu, Malkeinu. Our rock and redeemer, life of the universe, close to us always, impossibly far, Avinu, Malkeinu. Embracing, confounding, accepting our frailty, decreeing our end, Avinu, Malkeinu. None of these are true, none of them are you. Yet we stand as those before us have stood, summoned to judgment, longing for love, Avinu, Malkeinu. May these words be a bridge. They come from our hearts. May they lead us to you. On page 224, as able we rise. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu lefanecha, Avinu Malkeinu, Chamol aleinu, V'yal aleinu, V'ta'aleinu. We remain standing as we continue with the Seder Kriyat Torah, the service for the reading of the Torah, which will begin on page 226. And I invite Adam Falkowitz to come to the bima to help with the Torah. When first we appeared on the stage of world history, a book was in our hands. This book, this sacred scroll, and we were told, this is very near you, in your mouth and in your heart. And we were told, you can surely do it. And then we learned, this is where heaven and earth touch. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai. Kadosh Shemo, Gadol Adonai iti, Une'ema Shemo Yachdav. Lecha Adonai ha'tolah ve'hagvura ve'hatiferet ve'hanetzach ve'hahod. Ki chol Hashamayim u'la'aretz, ki chol Please be seated. You will find the Torah blessings on page 230. Page 230. And then you will find the Torah reading beginning on page 240. For the honor of the first Aliyah, I'm delighted to call upon Richard Yusati, Yalamod, Bible Ben Yosef, Aliyah Rishonah.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaBarak. Baruch atah Adonai. I'm sorry, Baruch Adonai HaBarak Le'olam Moed. Baruch Adonai HaBarak Le'olam. Oh, okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu
ויהי אחר הדברים האלה והאלוהים נישא את אברהם. And it happened after these things that God tested Abraham. Vayomer Elav, Abraham. And he said to Abraham, Abraham, Vayomer Hineni. And Abraham said, here I am. Vayomer, Kachna et Bincha et Yechitka et Asher Ahavta et Yitzchak. Take your son, your only son, whom you love, Isaac. V'lech lecha el Eretz Hamoria, v'ha'alehu sham le'ola al echad ha'harim asher omar elecha. Take him to go to the land of Moriah and offer him up as a burnt offering on one of the mountains that I will show you, the place that I will show you. וישכם אברהם בבוקר ויחבוש את חמורו ויקח את שני נעריו איתו ואת יצחק בנו. And Abraham got up early in the morning and he saddled his donkey and he took two young servants with him and Isaac his son. V'yivaka atzei olah, and he piled up the wood for the burnt offering. Vayakom vayelech el hamakom asher amar lo ha'elohim. And he got up and they went to the place that God told him. Vayom hashlishi vayisa Abraham et einav vayar et hamakom merachok. On the third day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place from afar. Vayomer Abraham el Ne'arav, and Abraham said to his servants, Shvu lachem po im hachamor, v'ani v'hana'ar ne'alcha adko, v'nishtachaveh v'nashuva alechem. Stay here with the donkey. The boy and I will go over there and we will worship and we will return to you. ויקח אברהם את עצי העולה וישם על יצחק בנו ויקח בידו את האש ואת המאכלת וילכו שניהם יחדיו. And Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering and he put them on Isaac his son, and he took in his hand the firestone and the knife, and the two walked on together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam v'natan v'tokenu Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Torah.
For the honor of the second Aliyah, we call upon Elizabeth Guzman. Ta'amod me'ir bat Abraham v'Sarah ba'aliyah shniya.
Baruch et Adonai Habarah. Baruch Adonai Habarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Vayomer Yitzchak. Vayomer Yitzchak el Abraham Avi. Vayomer Avi. Vayomer Hineni b'ni. Isaac said to Abraham his father, Father. And Abraham answered, Here I am, my son. Vayomer Hinei ha'esh ha'etzah v'ayeh haseh la'olah. And Isaac said, Here is the firestone and the wood. Where is the sheep for the burnt offering? Vayomer Abraham, Elohim yir'elo haseh la'olah b'nei. And Abraham said, God will see to the sheep for the burnt offering, my son. V'yelchu shnehem yachdav, and the two walked on together. Vayaviu el hamakom asher amar lo ha'elohim. Vayiben sham Abraham et hamizbeach, v'ya'aroch et ha'itzim, v'ya'akod et Yitzchak beno, v'yasem oto al hamizbeach, v'ma'al la'itzim. And when they came to the place that God had told him about, Abraham built the altar for the burnt offering and arranged the wood and bound Isaac, his son, to it. And he put him on the altar on top of the wood. וישלח אברהם את ידו, ויקח את המאכלת לשחט את בנו. And Abraham picked up the knife and raised it to kill his son. ויקרא אליו מלאך אדוני מן השמיים. And a messenger of God called out to him from the heaven. ויאמר אברהם, אברהם, ויאמר הנני. And he called Abraham, Abraham. And Abraham said, here I am. ויאמר אל תשלח ידך אל הנער, ואל תעש לו מאומה, כי אתה ידעתי כי ירא אלוהים אתה ולא חשבת את בנך, את יחידך ממני. And the messenger said, do not raise your hand to the boy, and do not do him any harm. For now I know that you fear God, and you have not withheld your only son, your favorite son, from me. וישא אברהם,
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בחותנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
For the honor of the third Aliyah, I am pleased to invite Adam Stockwitz back. Ya'amod Adam Ben Christina Lavia Shlishi.
So that, and if I don't sound as eloquent, it's because my arm hurts from pulling up the Torah. Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Vayed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bahar Banu Kol HaPalamim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
וישא אברהם את עיניו, וירא והנה עיל אחד לאחד מזבח בקרניו. וילך, and behold, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw that there was a ram stuck with its horn stuck in the thicket. וילך אברהם ויקח את העיל ויעלהו Le'olah tafat beno. And Abraham took the ram and offered it up as a burnt offering in place of his son. Vayikra Abraham Shem hamakom hahu Adonai yireh asher yomar hayom bahar Adonai yireh. And Abraham called the place God Adonai yireh, God sees. Because there on the mountain that day there was God's vision. Vayikra malach Adonai el Abraham shenit min hashamayim. And the messenger called to Abraham a second time from the heaven. Vayomer bi nishbati ne'um Adonai ki ya'an asher asita et hadavar hazeh. And he said, I swear by God's proclamation that you have done, because you have done this thing and not withheld your son, your favorite son, ki beirach avarchecha v'hirba arza arbeh et zaracha kechovei hashamayim v'kachol asher al sfat hayam. You shall be blessed, and your descendants shall be as numerous as the stars in the heavens and as the sand on the seashore. Vayirash zaracha et she'ar oivav, and your descendants will repel the enemy from your gates. V'hit baruchu b'zaracha kol goyei haaretz ekev asher shamata b'koli, and all of the peoples of the earth shall bless themselves by your descendants. Because you have heard my voice. Vayashov Abraham el ne'arav, vayakumu vayachu yachdav el be'er shava. And Abraham went back to the servants, and they got up and they walked together to Beersheba. Vayashov Abraham Be'er-sheva, and Abraham stayed in Beersheba.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'hayei olam natan v'tohim. Baruch atah Adonai notei haTorah. Amen.
We're going to turn to page 244 before we return the Torah, as we think about those who are in need of healing of mind, body, and spirit. Mishabera Avotenu Vivotenu Abraham Yitzchak Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel Leah Hu Yivarech Yirapeh Et HaCholim. Joe Adler, Patty Baker, Maureen Berlin, Sarah Cohen, Bruce Dalby, Mel Dalby, Bryant Dalby, Carolyn Dowland, Stuart Dowland, Stan Dresek, Jeff Duncan, Vito Frescus, Robin Gabe, Bernard Gottlieb, Melanie Hudson, Abby Hughes, Suzanne Carfield, Jackie Flieger, Rick Kramer, Alex Langdale, Jenna Lesser, Arthur McLeod, Linda Manning, Dennis Martin, September McLeod, Mike McNerney, Robert Medeiros, Adriana Meyer, Carol Miller, Robin Nelson, John Robertson, Shinshon Ben Abraham Sarah, Bethany Sellers, Jennifer Simlin, Ron Stevens, Mike Stern, Marissa Urias, Karen Usatine, Kay Williams, John Wilson, Betsy Winokur. Are there others for whom we are praying for healing? This Shabbat will start, or this Yom Tov will start first in the room.
Stacy Carlson.
Thank you. Heidi? Thank you. Thank you.
Amy Allen.
Thank you. Mark?
Jim Kilroy.
Thank you. Al?
Christina and Anthony Alvarez.
Marcelo Lowe.
Thank you. Anybody on Zoom, if you could put it in the chat and Rachel will read it. Read the names for us.
Okay, Kevin Maloney,
Kevin Maloney.
Jerry Grant,
Jerry Grant.
Marlene Frevilo,
Marlene Frivoli.
Ronnie Ames.
Ronnie Ames.
I don't see anybody else.
For those whom we've named and those we name in our hearts, we continue. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachamim Aleihem L'Hachalimam L'Rachotam L'Hachazikam L'Hachayotam V'Yishlach Lahem Mehira Refuah Shlema Min HaShamayim B'Toch Sha'ar HaCholim Refuat HaNefesh Refuat HaGuf Hashta Be'Adalam Zman Karev V'Nomar Amen. And on page 245, we join together in the Shabbat that we say. Please rise in honor of the Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher bachar b'neviyim tovim v'ratzah b'divreihem hane'amarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'torah u'b'Moshe abdo u'v'Yisrael amo u'v'Nevi'ei hamet b'tzedek.
And there was a man from Ramatayim, Tzofim, from the hills of Ephraim, whose name was Elkanah. Oh, is it on? Okay, does this also mean I need to start from the beginning?
Please.
Oh. Okay, everybody in the room disregard what I just said. And there was a man from Ramatayim, Tzofim, from the hills of Ephraim, whose name was Elkanah, God creates, son of Yeroham, son of Elihu, son of Tohu, son of Tzuf, and Ephraimite. And he had two wives named Hannah, Grace, and the other named Peninnah, Pearl. Peninnah had children, and Hannah had no children. And this man would go up from his own town every year to worship at Shiloh and make offerings to the Eternal of heaven's hosts. And there Eli's two sons, Hophni and Pinchas, were priests of the Eternal. And on the day of Elkanah would make offerings. He would give portions to his wife Peninnah and to each of her sons and daughters. And to Hannah he would give a special portion because he loved Hannah, and the Eternal had closed her womb. And her rival wife would taunt her cruelly and make her tremble with grief, for the Eternal had closed her womb. And so it was year after year, when she would go up to the house of the Eternal, she taunted her, and she would cry and not eat. And Elkanah, her husband, said to her, Hannah, why do you cry, and why do you not eat? And why are you so disheartened? Am I not worth more to you than 10 sons? And Hannah arose from, after the eating and drinking at Shiloh, while Eli the priest sat upon the throne near the doorpost of the temple of the Eternal. And she bitter to the core prayed to the Eternal, weeping and crying. And she vowed and said, Eternal of heaven's hosts, if you will truly see your servant's affliction and remember me and not forget your servant, and give your servant a son, I will give him to the Eternal all the days of his life, and no razor shall be lifted to his head. And as her praying before the Eternal intensified, Eli watched her mouth. And Hannah, she was speaking only in her heart. Though her lips were moving, her voice would not be heard. So Eli thought she was drunk, and Eli said to her, How long will you persist in drunkenness? Put away your wine and get rid of it. And Hannah answered and said, No, my Lord, a woman of sorrow am I. I drink neither wine nor spirits, but poured out my soul before the Eternal. Do not take your servant for a worthless woman. All this time I have spoken from the depth of my anger, from the greatness of my grief. Then Eli answered and said, Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant the request you have made. And she said, May your servant find grace in your sight. And the woman went on her way. And she ate, and her face was no longer as it has been, or had been. And they awoke early in the morning and worshipped before the Eternal. And they went home, returning to Ramah. And Elkanah knew Hannah his wife, and the Eternal remembered her. And so it was that at the turn of the year, Hannah conceived and then gave. And she called him Samuel because I requested him from the Eternal. And the man Elkanah and his whole household went up to make the annual offering to the Eternal and to fulfill his vow. But Hannah did not go up, for she said to her husband, Until the boy is weaned, then I will bring him. Once he appears before the Eternal, he will stay there forever. Elkanah, her husband, said to her, Do what you think is best. Wait until you have weaned him. Surely the Eternal will fulfill what your mouth has uttered. So the woman stayed and nursed her son until she weaned him. When she had weaned him, she took him up with her with a 3-year-old bull, 1 ephah of flour, and a skin of wine, and brought him to the house of the Eternal, to Shiloh. And the boy was young. They slaughtered the bull and brought the boy to Eli. And she said, Please, my Lord, as you live, my Lord, I am the woman who stood here with you, praying to the Eternal. It was for this boy that I prayed, and the Eternal granted my request. I, in turn, grant what the Eternal asks of him. As long as he lives, he is dedicated to the Eternal. And there they worshipped the Eternal.
You'll find the blessing after the Haftarah on page 259.
Just as an aside, my Hebrew name is Shmuel, Samuel. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Tzur kol mim tzadikah b'kodarot. Ha'el haneman homer v'yosef. Hamadaber b'kayim shekol darav emes b'tzedek. Al ha-Torah v'al ha'avodah v'al ha'navim v'al yom ha'zikaron hazeh shenatato lanu Adonai Eloheinu likavod u'tiferet Al hakol Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim lach, u'morachim otach, yisborek shimcha, b'fi kol chai tamid le'olam va'ed, u'dvorech emes v'kayam lad, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech olam, melech al kol haaretz, mikar, mekadesh Yisrael, v'yom hazikaron.
On page 263, I invite Kim Martinez to read responsively the Zichronot reading.
A messenger from another time, a stranger here in our midst, the shofar sounds remembrance.
Remember wherever you go.
I am with you.
After the flood, in the wake of destruction, Noah discovered the rainbow.
Alone on a mountain, a knife in his hand, Abraham heard the voice of compassion.
At the end of her strength, afraid for her child, Hagar found a well in the wilderness.
Remember, wherever you go, I am with you.
And sounding the horn, you summoned them back, Zichronot, memories of those who saw signs of your presence.
A rock gives forth water. Hope can blossom in the desert.
And when loving hands lighten our darkness,
When we are
Caught in the thicket, feel alone or forgotten. The shofar sounds remembrance.
from the deep well of the past, in the depths of our own despair, the shofar sounds remembrance.
Remember, my presence goes with you and will lighten your burden. Page 267. Thank you, Kim. And I call upon Dan, our Baltikia, to come back to the Bima. God of remembrance, remember the covenant of our ancestors. We reaffirm it today. Remember, we are a people of noble ideals. Help us to attain them. Remember all your people, all the nations on the road to peace. Bless their efforts. Remember with mercy the binding of Isaac, the sorrow of Sarah, Abraham's words, "Here I am." Our memory fades, but you remember all that we have forgotten. Your presence is a throne where all things matter and nothing is lost. Baruch atah Adonai, Zocher Habrit. You remember the covenant, you remember us. On page 268, as able we rise. Tekiah. Shivarim Teruah. Tekiah. Tekiah. Shivarim. Tekiah. Tekiah. Teruah. Tekiah. Arashat Sifatenu, Yarab Lefanecha El, Ram Benisa. Arashat Sifatenu, Yarab Lefanecha El, Ram Benisa. Mevinu Ma'azin, Mevinu Ma'azin, Mabitu Makshiv, Mabitu Makshiv, Mevinu Ma'azin, Lecho Tekiatenu, Utkabel Berachamim Uratzon, Seder, Seder Zichronotenu. We are seated. Can I just ask, are you still hearing the amplification on my microphone?
No.
No. I know it went out last night.
Can we check the channel on it real quick?
hear it, I hear it, we hear it. Yeah, we can hear it.
Are you sure you're hearing the microphone or are you just hearing Lisa?
No, I'm hearing the microphone too.
Okay, because
It's coming out of the
Lisa,
speaker.
can you try?
we weren't really hearing it over here.
Oh, it's coming out of that.
I'm not even, oh, here we go.
It's coming.
J7.
It's coming through the speaker.
Okay,
Okay.
We're good.
okay,
And I turned this mic off because sometimes there's a.
that's all right. It is my pleasure to call upon Andrew Cohen to read on page 270 and 272, the prayer for our congregation and the prayer for our country.
Can you speak and I'll see if it's too loud?
Eternal presence,
We're a one-speaker congregation today.
eternal presence, who blessed our mothers and fathers, bless this holy congregation, a house of study, prayer, and righteous deeds. Together we give thanks for our leaders, those who learn, teach, and uphold the Torah, inspiring others to
We have no sound at all.
Rabbi, you're muted. Rabbi, you're muted.
Yeah, I was.
Your microphone is further from your mouth than you usually wear it.
It was muted.
Oh, okay.
When it knocked off, and then it came back on and it was muted. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Rabbi Menachem Creditor tells of his first official event as scholar in residence at UJA Federation in New York City, when he was asked to speak at a Shabbat dinner. He was introduced, and then the host, whose home it was, said, "Rabbi, we don't talk about politics here." And he stood up and he said, "Well, we do. We do, and we must." He went on to explain that much of what we call politics is really, in fact, civic responsibility. And as Jews, we must speak up in support of policies and actions that align with our Jewish values and call out injustices and policies that go against our values. So today, I'm following Rabbi Creditor's example as I share my thoughts with you on democracy in the United States in 2024. Why this topic and why today? Because for me, Judaism and democracy are intertwined. Because preserving and supporting our democracy is in our Jewish self-interest. And because it's a mitzvah, a sacred obligation. Allow me to explain. In Pirkei Avot, a compilation of the ethical teachings and maxims from rabbinic Jewish tradition, Rabbi Hillel said, "Im ein ani li mili." If I am not for myself, who will be for me? U'sha'ani le'atzmi ma'ani. And if I am only for myself, what am I? Ve'im lo achshav ematai. And if not now, then when? If I am not for myself, who will be for me? First, Judaism thrives best in a multi-ethnic, multi-religious democracy. Fighting for democracy is a Jewish imperative. Rabbi Mordechai Kaplan taught that where there is no diversity, there is no freedom. Our ability to live freely and thrive in the United States depends thoroughly on other people's ability to do the same. Only in a fully constituted democracy, where people can choose their leaders and, when necessary, remove them from office, can such diversity and freedom flourish. Second, in 1984, Rabbi Moshe Feinstein argued that American Jews are obligated to vote because we owe America hakarat hatov, recognition of the good that this country has done for us. We should preach democracy because what it has done for the American Jewish community as a whole, it can do for other Americans, including many Jews, who continue to be disenfranchised. We are grateful for the American system, and we show our gratitude by fulfilling our civic responsibilities, most important of all, voting. And if I am only for myself, what am I? We live in a complicated and dangerous time, not only for Jews, but for all minorities. White Christian remain a Christian nation founded for its white Christian inhabitants, and that our laws and policies must reflect this premise is experiencing a resurgence. White Christian nationalists seek to force their Christian beliefs on others. They oppose equality for people of color, for women, for the LGBT community, and for our Jewish community, along with other religious minorities. White Christian nationalism is anti-American and anti-democratic. Civil rights litigator Roberta Kaplan writes, "The historical record is unambiguous. It has never gone well for us in the past when the government has tried to assert domination by the majority faith. From the Spanish Inquisition to present-day Iran, living as a Jew, a religious minority, in a country that has sought to impose the majority religion has had dire and deadly consequences. Mother Emanuel, Tree of Life, Charlottesville, El Paso, Buffalo, all acts of domestic terror, fueled by right Christian nationalist thinking. White Christian nationalists want power at any cost. For over 40 years, they have been undermining our democracy by systematically disenfranchising voters through gerrymandering and unnecessarily cumbersome voting restrictions. White Christian nationalists don't want us to vote. They don't want people of color or LGBTQ people or legal immigrants to vote either. Our tradition teaches us that in the words of the prophet Isaiah, we must raise our voice like a shofar, standing up not only for ourselves, but for all oppressed people. Since childhood, I've idealized American democracy. Two of my earliest memories are of accompanying my father to the voting booth, punching the holes in the ballot once I was old enough to do it carefully, and learning to put my hand over my heart for the Pledge of Allegiance. Though I didn't realize it then, American democracy resonated within because it fulfilled a certain Jewish narrative into which I'd been educated. God liberated us from Egypt to be a free people, governed by a system of ethics and laws, tasked with bringing the human project to fruition. Our Jewish ancestors came to America seeking not only opportunity, but also justice, not only to be welcomed, but also to end the exile. Like many American Jews, I feel that national political problems are personal. I watch in dismay as the country that has been better for the Jews than any other in the history of the diaspora teeters precariously under disorder. We were supposed to ascend the upward slope of human history, walking behind Moses and Thomas Jefferson, Shifra, Pua, and Emma Lazarus. Yet where American aspiration once mingled with Jewish hope, I now feel existential distress. Our tradition has an umbrella term to describe the kind of self-reinforcing, anger-fueled discourse that has become the norm in American politics. Sinat chinam, senseless hatred. As manifestations of political extremism, government shutdowns, impeachments, refusal to accept the legitimacy of elections, and the storming of the US Capitol in January 2020 become normalized. Mind you, Judaism has no problem with polarization. Rabbis Hillel and Shammai were polarized. But in the past decade, we have seen a dramatic increase in what the One America movement calls toxic polarization, the feedback loops that exacerbate and reinforce division. Polarized people simply disagree, see the other side as a mortal threat. Instead of following the norms of healthy citizenship, inclusive dialogue, transparent deliberation, rigorous intellectual debate, for institutions, and the elevation of agreements have become increasingly personal, with people attacking individuals rather than their political opinions. And social media tends to amplify this dynamic. People are increasingly concerned with labeling others instead of thinking about their arguments. When each side thinks that the other's beliefs are to listen vanishes and reasonable disagreement collapses. This is our dilemma. How can we deal with our fellow Americans who are forsaking democracy by perpetuating a big lie and conspiracy theories, restricting voting access, and setting the stage for overturning the next election if it is not in their favor? Yet how can we not deal with our fellow Americans who are our family members, our neighbors, our friends? How can we give up the search for common ground and the quest for the common good? Here's how I respond. While I will resist every action that is anti-democracy, I will engage in every effort that is pro-democracy. I will call out every action that is racist and unjust and defend those who are powerless. I will listen to every critique of my own views and we'll try to understand I will this victory. Hillel and their disciples disagreed on just about everything. Yet time and again, the view of Hillel prevailed in Jewish law. Beit Hillel was able to convince the majority to side with them over and over. The Talmud itself poses the question, how could this be? And the Talmud itself answers its own question in how famous both their plans show they prioritized they prioritized the statements of Beit Shammai to their own in deference to Beit their opponents. They showed honor and respect to each other, and if not when, lift our voice, Americans, we must stand up for democracy. We must stand up for ourselves, and we must stand up for all the vulnerable among us and ensure that their voices are not silenced. Because we know that every citizen deserves to have their voice heard. The work is hard, and it's going to take all of us. But I have hope. I truly believe that if we each do our part, if we each use our voice, we can make a difference together. Again from Pirkei Avot, this time the words of Rabbi Tar. Alecha hamlacha ligmor v'lo ata ben chorin lehibatel. I can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. But if each of us does our part, if each of us lifts our voice, we can do it together. And if not, now when? It's time to tell an old story, one of the magnificent tapestry of people who make up this great country and the democratic ideals upon which the United States was founded. Be loud, speak out, do not hold back, lift up your voice like the shofar. Shana tova u'metuka. May we all be blessed with a good and sweet new year. Lacey?
Shana Tova to all of our guests and our members. So glad that you're here today, whether you're here in person, those of you who are joining us on Zoom, and those who are watching on YouTube. Welcome to everyone. The macro level, our elections at the federal, all the way down level, our congregations on both levels, and how to respectfully disagree and get involved and vote and make your voice heard. So I want to thank everyone who takes the time to come to congregational meetings, to read over the weekly bulletin, to stay informed, and may we have more of that in the coming year, in addition to voting on that macro level. Speaking of which, this Monday is your last opportunity to register to vote in Texas. There is no online registration. You must do it in person or have your mail registration postmarked by Monday. If you are already registered, please check and make sure that your registration is current. Also on Monday, there will be a community commemoration of the events of October 7th last year. You can register for that at the link in your weekly bulletin. That will be at Temple Bethel, and it will be tight seating. You want to go ahead and register today if possible. Further thanks to my fellow choir members, to Dan Klein for being here and blessing us with your beautiful shofar playing. Thank you to April for filling in for me over on the sound system. And again, my apologies to those online. I'm gonna figure this out this week. We're gonna have good sound. Thank you to Jesse, even though he's not here, for striving to teach me how to do this. I want to make sure I don't forget anyone. You'll have to excuse me. Again, thank you to Captain Reginald World, who provides our security, and his team. I know he can't hear me. I just want to express it so that we all such close touch with us. He gives time that could be with his family to keep us safe, and it's just really a blessing that he's been with us for over a decade now, through 2 congregations. My thanks to our security committee, particularly Dave, Steve, and Adam. And thank you to Tamara for doing all of our admin work, helping us get ready and taking things off of Rabbi's plate, because otherwise it would all be on her instead of just most. As Rabbi said earlier, we are doing a Yom Kippur food drive. Please bring your bag of non-perishable goods and I will take it to the food bank for you, or a check, or online. All the information is in your weekly bulletin. If you have not registered for Yom Kippur services, whether in person or on Zoom, please do so. The last day to register is Wednesday, the 9th. Just a reminder, tomorrow we will be having Shabbat services, Shabbat Shuvah, regular time, and Steve Samet will be doing his 2nd edition of Meet the Member. So I'm grateful that he's agreed to do that. I think that is all I have. If I have forgotten to thank anyone, well, thank you to everyone who's read. Thank you to Kate. Thank you to Gabe, who's been filling in back there for Adam, and I really appreciate that. And just, yeah, forgive me if I've forgotten to thank you, and Shana Tova.
We continue with the 3rd part of our shofar service. I invite Dan Klein to come back up. Page 282. Page 282. You revealed your glory, a presence in a cloud, and a people became holy when you spoke with them. Amid thunder and lightning, you made yourself known. With blasting shofar, you appeared. God revealed to us and our fathers and mothers before us. God of revelation, play the song of our freedom on the great shofar. Let your banner fly over the gathering of our exiles. Bring back the dispersed. Let those who are scattered find their way home. Let joyful songs of Zion greet us in Jerusalem, your holy city. the place of our people's eternal happiness. Page 284. Baruch atah Adonai, shomea kol trua amo Yisrael barachamim. Blessed are you in our lives, Adonai. You hear with love the shofar, true voice of your people, Israel. Please rise. Tekiah. Shivarim teruah. Tekiah. Tekiah. Shivarim. Tekiah. Tekiah. Teruah. Tekiah gedolah. Areshet sifatenu yerav lefanecha el ram v'nisa. Areshet sifatenu yerav lefanecha el ram v'nisa. Mevinu ma'azin, mevinu ma'azin, mabitu makshiv, mabitu makshiv. Mevinu ma'azin, lekol tekiyatenu, utkabel berachamim uvratzon, seder, seder shofrotenu. We remain standing and turn to page 287 for Aleinu L'Shabeach. Aleinu L'Shabeach La'adon HaKol, La'teit Gedula Li'otzeh Breshit, Shehu Noteh Shamayim V'yoseh et Haaretz, U'moshav Yikaro B'shamayim Mima'al, U'shchina Tuzo begofhei meromim, hu Eloheinu ein od, va'anachnu koreim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Please be seated. We turn to page 288 and read together in the English. And so, Adonai, our God, we look to you, hoping soon to behold the splendor of your power revealed, a world free of idolatry and false gods, a world growing more perfect through divine governance, a world in which all human beings make known your name, while those who do evil turn toward you instead. As the prophet announced, the Eternal shall be sovereign over all the earth. On that day, the Eternal shall be one, and God's name shall be one. Bayom ha'u yehieh Adonai echad u'shemo Page 291. Our thoughts turn to loved ones whom death has taken from us in recent days, those who died at this season in years past. Our hearts open as well to the wider circles of loss in our community and wherever grief touches the human family. Today we remember Inbar Segev, Revital Bronstein, Shachar Goldman, Ilya Nozadze, Nadia Sokolenko, and two others who have not yet been named, who were killed in the missiles that hit Tel Aviv from Iran 2 days ago. We also remember Sam Walston, my grandfather, whose yahrzeit is observed this week. Are there others who are in mourning or have a name for Kaddish, observing a yard site?
Bernice Fischel.
Thank you. Anybody on Zoom? If you do, put it in the chat and I'll give the name. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for an abiding blessing as we turn to the words of the Mourner's Kaddish on page 292 and rise as able. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, B'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mivarach le'alam ulamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit alev, v'yit halal, shemet kutsha, brichu. La'ela ula'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace bestow peace on all who mourn, and may we be a source of comfort to all who are bereaved, as we say. Amen. Please be seated. We are going to conclude on page 299 in a moment, but before we do, I want to add my gratitude to our beautiful choir, Maury, Rod, Lacey, Dorothy, and also to Manahara. All of them have put in countless of hours rehearsal and in preparing for today and for Yom Kippur. I invite you to come back tomorrow too for Shabbos, but it's on Yom Kippur and you'll hear them again. A prayer for the new year by Rabbi Menachem Creditor. Dear God, may we learn and remember how to open our hearts and minds and souls. May we reclaim the headlines with the shocking good we'll do. May our children inherit some good decisions we'll make to offset our countless mistakes. May we take really good care of each other. On page 300, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Wait around, I'm going to cut it up, we'll all have a piece. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Bore peri ha'es. There's also apples and honey sticks on the rear table. I hope you will take some as you leave this afternoon. One more blessing. Yehi milfanei avotenu ve'imotenu shetechadei shalenu shetechadei shalenu shana tova umituka. I hope to see many of you on Shabbat and on Yom Kippur as well. Tova.
Shana Tova.
So on the way out for
Shana Tova, Dennis.
your name tag?
Shalom to God, Dennis. Yes. Happy and healthy, please. And I hope the sound is better next week.